what do you get when you do this with an MSP, right? You can go buy Rubric and set up Exchange and M365 backup and manage it yourself. But now you've got to take the time to make sure things are in place. If changes happen, if things break, you have to react to that, right? Assured is an extension of your team. We are pulling in the metadata about your backups and automatically generating tickets when things break, right? So if there's Microsoft issues in the cloud and things start to break, we will see it. We will start to address it. We have access to manage your backups and your backup data only, which is of course encrypted, so that the access to that data is blocked from us. We're just managing the process, and if we need help in the environment in M365, we have, you know, contacts within your business to help us work through those things, right? But this automated monitoring process is going around the clock. It's called ProtectView. We pull that data in, and then we auto generate tickets based on the severity of the problem. Um, we can help you set, as part of the process of working with us, we help you set up the environment. So we have best practices for data protection, and we'll bring those to the table. But you have requirements that may be different. You may have requirements to keep everything for 7 years or 10 years, right? Or you have a policy where you're going to back up for 14 days and that's it, right? We'll help you set up all those policies. We'll make sure that you're protecting everything that you want protected, and that we account for everything you don't want to protect. One of the things that customers have an issue with often is um, environments change and new objects don't get protected. Right? We build default policies to pick up new users as they come in, and if there's a set of objects that you don't want to protect, instead of taking them out of data protection, we mark them as do not protect. So they're all inventory to control. Right? Um, Business continuity is important, right? So if you have a major problem, we can help work through that process and do our recovery, right? One of the key advantages of working with Assured is you have a team at the end of the phone that does only this. We are only a disaster recovery and data protection company. We're not focusing on anything else. Rubric is the only tool we use. It's the best tool. So we've tied our hitch to Rubric because of its immutability capabilities and security overall. Rubric customers have never paid a ransom. We always get their data back, and it's true for all of our customers. Very granular recovery options, right? So I can go in and search through the environment for a specific email I want. And the search capabilities in Rubric are very robust because as the data gets back up, it's all indexed. So it's a Google-like search. I can go in and start typing a term, and it will give me a list of all the objects and emails that match that, or files in OneDrive or SharePoint, right? So if I know the email I want or the file I want, I can go search for that, and it will give me that file and when it was backed up. If it's a file that's changed often and you're editing a document every day and you want the one from 3 days ago, you put in that document name and it will give you a list of versions to recover, right? Because I back that up every day because I'm changing it every day, and I can go back and grab another version. So very easy to go out and get pieces and very granular capabilities, and then comprehensive restore capabilities. So I can restore back to your environment, your user, and I can overwrite things. I can put another copy in the same spot. I can restore to another folder. I can restore to another user. I can even restore across subscriptions. So if you're managing multiple subscriptions in your business and you want to move a user from one to the other, you can do that with Assured's capability.
So I think that's a couple of good things. If you don't mind, go back just a slide real quick there, Craig, to kind of touch on, right? So if we start talking about what no, don't get me wrong, you can absolutely do backup with M365, but you have to pay for that additional backup capability, right? So to just be aware that again, and to Craig's point, there's limitations, right? The most granular you can get is like 10-minute restore points for up to 14 days. And then you go to weekly snapshots, right? For up to a year. And that's it. So again, if you have more granular requirements, that's again a key use case we're going to be looking at. The other thing that I think that Craig hit on is that granular restore and be able to search and find the specific thing that you're looking to restore. Most of the restores inside of Microsoft, you're not able to granular restore. It's a full mailbox or it's a full container repository, and to roll back to a point in time for all of the data. It's not just a selective data you're trying to recover, or maybe got inadvertently deleted, or you're looking for a previous version or something to that effect. So these are key reasons why this is recommended, and where the solution starts to really differentiate from kind of the Microsoft. Microsoft's notorious for going 80% of the way and leaving that 20% for really to the enhancements from a third party perspective. And that's really where that recommendation comes from Microsoft, is that if you're really looking for granular restore recovery of individual data files, components, being able to have that retention down to that granular level for a period of time, extending, and again, the ability to archive that out maybe for a longer retention period to, as Craig mentioned, either if you need anything longer than a year, which a lot of regulatory and compliance are required to hold on to things for longer than that. We can do that with solutions like assured data protection and the M365 backup. So again, key differentiators to understand why there's a difference, why this is important, why what Microsoft provides versus what you can get from a third party provider, specifically using assured data protection today, like we're talking about. So sorry, Craig, just want to interject that real quick. Go ahead and take it away.
Oh, perfect. Great additional information. Um, so what are we trying to protect from, right? We're trying to protect from a cyber attack. Cyber attacks are, there's two sides of the cyber attack discussion. They're going away. We're getting better at protecting, but they're making money doing this, and they're finding new ways to get in, right? AI is helping them impersonate people and get credential passwords changed and get in um, by logging in, right? And this is where they really can get in and make a huge impact in your environment. This is where we see the major attacks today. They've gotten in and they're just running around inside, causing all sorts of havoc. And this is where you need this immutable data set that they can't get to, they can't destroy, they can't change, to be able to help you recover, right? So the security pieces of Rubrik are excellent. The data is immutable. We're going to back this up to another tenant within the region, right? So Rubrik's tenant within your region, so it's out of your tenant, so it's air gap data. Um, and then the security pieces are very strong within Rubrik. So MFA is enforced, right? You can't do it without it. And then we have you can have role-based access rights. You can limit privileges to people to only what they need. And then um, there's a piece called quorum authentication. So for administrative rights, for like changing retention on backups and things like that, we can turn on quorum authentication, which requires a secondary authenticator to make the change. Once you set your retention policies, you're not going to change them, right? And if you do, going through this extra step is worth the security that it grants you, right? So, someone in another part of the company, someone in HR or an executive is that second authenticator. Often it's us, right? As part of the solution, we'll be on that list so that we're going to help you if you need to make a change. And that way, if a hacker gets in and gets your credential, they're not going to be able to do anything to the backups, right? And then when we come in to help you recover, we're going to, have all that data to be able to come in and do all that work. Automated protection, right? This is the key, that you want to be able to set this up and forget about it, right? Everything's protected. You know that you've set the policies you want, and then Assured is watching on the back end to make sure that everything's working right and calling you when there's an issue, right? Some of the parts of the solution that are encompassing here is uh, we're serious about keeping communication channels with our customers. We do quarterly reviews, or often if it's required by you. Um, we have a dedicated client services contact so that you have someone you can call, ask questions about, and of course 24/7 support around the globe. We have level 3 support in the US and the UK, and we have call centers in Costa Rica and now Tunisia for French language speaking, in the UK as well. So we're covered across the globe. So if you have a problem at 3 in the morning in Denver, or you know Miami, someone's going to be at the end of the phone ready to help you out, right? And then the recovery pieces, right? We are dealing with Microsoft, so recovery speeds can be affected by the network in the cloud, but in general, the recovery time for Rubrik M365 is very quick. When we do demos, which you can request when we'll get on the phone with you, show how all this works and sets up. When we recover an email, by the time we get to the mailbox to look for it, it's already done, right? So very fast, very quick recovery. When you're doing large data sets, right, that's going to take a little bit longer, but it's the speed of that data movement, which is for the cloud is very good.